Welcome to the Smart Families Principal Introduction meeting. For the first time ever, we're going to try and be short. And we have cut this talk down to 30 minutes, which hurts my heart, but we know you have a lot going on. And so in true Smart Families mission, we're here to support you and not add to the work on your plate. So with that being said, if you could please share, we'd love to see who's in attendance today and where you're from. Take a moment just to put in the chat your school and your city. We have a lot of repeat names in our program, so we no longer can say Our Lady Guadalupe because we hear that in many other places and over again. So thank you all for joining us. My name is Hillary Caceres. I'm the Executive Director of Smart Families. Tara will be speaking shortly, but Tara, please introduce yourself.
I'm Tara Ceballos, and I'm the Regional Director here in Central Texas. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so this year we have over 160 schools in the full program, both here in the United States and in the country of Colombia and in the UK. So I wanted to just highlight that out of those 160 plus, about 60 of them are new to the school program. So you are not alone if you're stepping into this program, which many of you are, actually all of you are, for the first time. And we want you to feel that now you are part of this greater community, right? Because we all know that we cannot tackle this mission alone. And feel free to go to the next slide, Tara. Okay, as a reminder, I know many of you had about an hour with Allison to talk through our program, talk through our mission, but these are our community norms. I believe the majority of you on this call represent a K through 8 school. We do work with high schools, but those norms remain the same. And so we're going to continue to provide, or we will be providing content that supports each of these norms. Your school community members will hear about why it's important to prioritize your family from a research perspective, why it's important to delay smartphones at least until high school, again, from a research perspective, why it's important to delay social media until at least 16. I added the at least, it should be until 16, and to commit to a phone-free school day. Here, what we want to spend a minute just thinking about what is a successful program as you step into your first year in the program. What's so important is this is a mission that goes to our hearts, right? Your principals, you're guiding your community, you're guiding your students, your teachers, and there'll be a lot of things that we need to get done. We'll have postcards that we'll provide for you. Many of you have already had your planning meetings, so you actually have your schedule for what the school year will look like on our 5 key events, which we'll talk through in the next couple of slides. But we just want to remind all of the leaders here on this call is that make sure you consistently keep the mission at the heart of what you do. When you show that leadership and that passion in your community, that will help push cultural change a lot more stronger than any other event that we can host. And so just keep that in mind as you go through conversations with your parents, with your teachers, and with your students. If you have the opportunity to plant a seed, plant it, because we know that will really make a big difference in what we do. Communication, we'll be sending out emails. You've already received probably your first 2 from your implementation coordinator locally. Those are called your partner emails. And so you receive one of those once a week. And we'll talk more about that later in this presentation. And then don't forget you're in a partnership with us. We are here to support you. So please lean on your coordinator if you have an issue that arises about a particular topic that's somewhat technology related. Please, if you're not sure if it's even in our wheelhouse, just ask us. We have developed an enormous amount of relationships and partnerships across the country with a lot of professionals who can most likely provide a talk or information or research on this area. Let me just go ahead and mute everybody. If you're not muted, please go ahead and mute yourself. Let me see.
That's me.
Oh, okay. Great, thank you. And then you should have heard about the term family lead. We'll talk more about that later, but lean on your family lead as you start to develop that relationship with those individuals in your community. And finally, be patient. This is your first year in the program. Research shows that it takes about 4 years of consistent messaging to truly make a change within any community. Hence why we start with a 3-year program. We know we're going to follow research, and so just be patient and know that you are definitely planting seeds with everything you say and do through our partnership. So we've spent a lot of time figuring out or thinking about what is the best way to approach a plethora of content and research that is now available surrounding our mission, right? A couple of years ago, it was not as common or prevalent in the mainstream media. It is today. And there's so much research that we can share. And so Sally Waterfield, who's on this call, she's a director of our content. We have come up with, we feel to be the most cohesive rhythm to present all of that content. So year one, your community will be receiving technology and the mind. You will be hearing about the neuroscience. How does technology impact the neuroscience, specifically of a developing brain, adolescents, children from the age of all the way from 3 till 25 years of age. So that information is packed into year one. Year two will then go into technology in the body. We're going to talk about all the different sensory integration systems, the vestibular system. We're also going to take a look at sleep, and how the body is being impacted with too much technology use. And then year three, we'll talk about relationships. So we now have shared information about the brain, information about the body. How is technology impacting our relationships? And most recently, we have announced a program extension. So after you've completed your 3 years, which feels probably like an eternity away, you can extend your program. And it will be a cyclical spiral model. So where students who may have received the junior version of our student presentation in year one, 3 years later can receive more of that mature version of that and dive a little bit deeper into what's happening with their brains and what's happening with some of the manipulative technology that we know, unfortunately, they're exposed to. So that's a very big, broad overview of the program. This slide talks a little bit more in depth about the program again. You've walked through this most likely with Allison. You've walked through this with your coordinator potentially, if not yet, but these are the events that should be booked at this point. If they aren't, no problem, please reach out to us. We'll make sure that we're getting them on your schedule. But just a reminder, we're a cohesive program that wants to have a touch point with every member of your community. So you have your teacher PD, your parent presentation, your student presentations, and your family workshop. We'll make this document available for those who are interested in it, just again to have a reminder of the big picture of what our program has to offer. And so as we walk through year one, and we have, like I said, 160 schools in the program, we have been getting feedback, and we love feedback. We are not sensitive to it. We want to hear, what are your parents saying? What are your teachers saying? What are your students saying? And what do you want to say to us so that we can make changes to it? Or we can support a specific need in your community. One of the things that we heard most recently is the desire for more short form content, which is so ironic because we talk about the impact of short form content on our students. But we have to fish where the fish are, right? And so that's something that we are working on, so you can share whatever might be really pressing in your community and maybe a short form video version. So keep your eyes out for that. In addition to our K-8 program, like I said, we do have high schools in our program, and a lot of them have asked just for more robust student engagement. So if you have any high schools that your school feeds into, something to think about when it looks about our growth is we would really love to communicate with them. We love to also say, hey, your K-8 feeder, those students have been hearing our content now for 2-3 years. We want you in the program so that information can continue. Yes, so keep sharing anything you have with your coordinator, and so that we can make any improvements to the program. Don't be shy. Next up, our family leads. So how this really started was actually basically a family lead, more or less. We've just given them a name. It was a passionate family member, family in the community, parents who wanted to see a change. And so what we are hoping that each of you can do is to help designate a family lead in your community, connect with them. You'll sometimes be able to identify them off the top of your head because they've already emailed you several times about this for one reason or the other. So you might say, I know exactly who I have in mind for this role, or you don't yet, and that's okay. What will be helpful is as you attend the events, as you attend the parent presentation, you will see the people who consistently show up and ask questions. Right then and there, you'll be able to say that is the perfect family lead for my community. And then you can set up an introduction with them and your implementation coordinator. The whole point of them is that we know if we stand up as a Smart Families professional and present the research and encourage cultural change, and if you do the same, we will get a strong percentage of families who join this movement, who sign the pledge. But if a fellow parent goes up and says, I'm committed to delaying to giving my child a smartphone, I am really making a change in my family, please join me. That alternate peer pressure is what we're hoping to make, and that family lead will really be the driving force in that mission. And they'll be the ones to share on the group chat. They'll be the ones to share on the WhatsApp app about an upcoming talk, about the fact that there's a giveaway going on or there's a pledge push that week. So try and find those family leads when you can, and let us start having relationships with them. Again, not to add more to your plate, but to help take things off your plate. And as a little bit of a tidbit, we do have a family lead online talk coming up in September to help educate and inform and bring those family leads in. So you'll see more information about that. If you have any already in the back of your mind, that talk is listed on our website, and you can encourage them to go RSVP there. Okay, one more thing is the next slide. At Smart Families, since we've grown in the number of schools, we've also grown in staff. And so this is just something, since you're new to the organization, you might not realize so much that there has been a change, but we now have regional directors who really help guide growth in particular communities. Tara is joining us from Central Texas. We have one in the Dallas-Fort Worth region, and we'll be continuing that model as we grow and add more coordinators to help support all of our schools. And we've also developed an additional plethora of speakers who go through a vetting process here at Smart Families, and then they are trained. And so it's just exciting to see our growth, and I just wanted to communicate that. Is there anything, Tara, that I missed on this page that I was supposed to share? Okay.
No,
my notes don't say much.
Yeah, we're all here to help, so.
Yes, yeah. So just so you could see how the flow of the, that's what it is. The flow of the organization. You have your regional director, you have your implementation coordinator, and then you have speakers. A lot of our speakers are external Smart Families consultants. Some speakers are Smart Families staff, and you will be able to probably identify the difference when you start hearing them talk. They'll introduce themselves as a Smart Family staff member, but so that you're aware, we have an external speaker who's a professional in their field, or you have a Smart Families individual who we have worked with to also designate them as a speaker. That was the one important piece I wanted you to know. So if you have a problem with the speaker, which we really truly hope does not happen, but we understand, unfortunately, things come up, a conversation might go in the wrong direction for the wrong reasons, please let us know. We do, again, want to be aware of everything that's going on, and it's very hard with so many events taking place all over the country. Okay, yeah, that was an important piece on that page. The next is our communication. So as I mentioned, you will receive a weekly email from your coordinator that will contain information such as an upcoming online talk, which will include a social media post and a social media image. When I say post, it's the image and the text. So you literally will just have to save that image, copy the text, and upload it into your social media account. We try and make it as easy as possible so you don't have to do absolutely anything. So keep your eye out for those weekly emails. They'll also include our newsletters. For those of you who are in our faith program, we have 2 newsletters for you. One will be the Be Smart, which is the neuroscience or any of the research. The other is the Be Not Afraid, and that is our faith-based newsletter. For those in the secular program, obviously you will not receive that faith newsletter. Again, those are designed copy-paste model for you to put into your e-news, email, and social media. Finally, we have something new this year. It's called the Monthly News Roundup, and we take what we feel to be the most exciting, important pieces of news happening in society today about our mission, and we share that just once a month. That is an optional subscription, though, and so you will not receive that email unless you'd like to do so. So you can go ahead and subscribe to that on our website. The other piece that's not on here, we also have teacher emails that go out to the teachers who attend our teacher PDs and voluntarily subscribe to our teacher email. That goes out once a month, roughly, and we know some schools have said, don't worry, I will forward that over to my teachers. And so we then say, please then subscribe to receive it, as it's not something that our coordinators will be sending to you automatically, just that weekly coordinator email that goes out. And those teacher emails are really nice. We try and incorporate 2 or 3 action items for them to do in the classroom specifically to help them with the topics that we'll be talking about throughout the school year. This one that just went out a couple of days ago, we included a coupon code for $30 to go purchase some stuff off of our website. We love to see Smart Families content and promotional items in the classroom. So please do let us know if that's something you'd like to automatically receive, or if you can just subscribe. It's that teacher email that's listed on our website. Great. Okay, Tara, take it away. I tried to go as fast as I could.
Yes. All right. Well, I will finish this out. Thank you so much, Hillary. As I mentioned, I am the regional director here in Central Texas, serving a band of Texas, but also some outside states. I see some of our outside of the Texas schools here. And I just joined Smart Families in June. However, before that, I was a principal at a Catholic school here in Austin, Texas, and we just finished that school, just finished year 2 with Smart Families. And so I got to really live what you guys are living. And so what I want to talk to y'all about here at the end is really how to make this program from my point of view as a former principal rolling out Smart Families, and kind of learned what I could have done a little bit better, and hope to share that with you all. So I know that this is back to school season, it's here, and y'all are gearing up to welcome new and returning teachers and onboard them with this year's programming and curriculum initiatives. So, and also families and students. So please make sure, we want to make sure that Smart Families is a part of that back to school content. And so in last week's email, we provided you all with a school logo, and that's this thing here at the top right that is saying we are a Smart Family School. And so you can put that on your website or anywhere else that you'd like. Hopefully Many of y'all have already signed up or for the virtual PD teacher presentation, but also or scheduled it with your implementation coordinator to come in person to roll out that program for your staff. You may have also invited Smart Families to come to a back to school event, set up a table, talk with your parents. We are so happy to be able to do that as much as we can possibly be at all the different schools. And we want to get your community oriented with who Smart Families is. If a Smart Families staff member is not available to be in attendance at your back to school or meet the teacher event, we do encourage you all to please still set up a Smart Families table. You will be receiving on August 3rd, about that time, a box that will have pledge cards and yard signs in that. So we encourage y'all to still set up a table with Smart Families material, and maybe either your counselor or another staff member that you have, or if you've already identified that family lead parent, they can introduce the program to your families. Once that event is over, please don't forget to place those yard signs around your campus to continue the message that we are Smart Families is a part of your community, and put those pledge cards, the remaining pledge cards, at your front reception office where families will encounter them throughout the year. And if y'all need more, please just let us know. And then finally, next week on Monday, you're going to be receiving a back to school video, which we're going to share with you here in just a second, and a script. And we'll hope that you'll include that in your General Assembly at your back to school night presentation. We know that that night draws the largest audience of parents that you're going to probably see all year long. And they are captive ones at that very moment. And so it's a great opportunity for you to work on your own passion pitch, why you have chosen to partner with Smart Families in this work on behalf of their children. Make sure to highlight the 2 parent events that you have already chosen. We'll provide you all with a flyer that will have those events on them. And any incentives. I know that I've been talking with the schools that I'm implementation coordinator for, like really work on those incentives to tell those parents and compel them to come be a part of that presentation. And let's see that video that we are talking about. So that's the video that we'll be sending out to you all next week. And we just hope that y'all include that in your back to school assembly. But I mentioned a little bit about incentives. And like I said, as a former principal who implemented Smart Families for the last 2 years, I just saw how challenging it was to get families to attend school events. I know that we all feel that. The real power of Smart Families lies in the collective, the number of schools that we work with, and the ideas that we gather from different communities to share with you so that you can choose some of these ideas, incentives that might entice your community to show up and hear the powerful message that Smart Families has to share. So I've put a few of them on the screen, but your implementation coordinator will have many more to brainstorm with you as that event comes up. And if you have any ideas of your own, we love for you guys to share those with other schools as well. So share those with your implementation coordinator. A couple that I wanted to highlight, some principals are making that presentation mandatory, though whether that really works really depends on your principalship and your relationship with the community. If you do, I'd like to encourage you to kind of give something back to families in return for their commitment. So if you make it mandatory and you will have parent volunteer hours that are required, maybe you give them parent service hours for attendance. And of course, we know for those schools with uniforms, those free dress passes for their children are always a crowd pleaser. We've also seen power in schools adding the Smart Families events to their master calendar at the start of the school year so that families can see them and plan ahead. So we'd like to share that with you all to add also. But to underscore what we were talking about in in the last slide before the video, the real compelling reasons that families will show up is from your back to school night passion pitch, your family leads communication, and your own reminders through our newsletters about upcoming parent events. As Hillary mentioned, we'll be sending you that content to put in those newsletters so the topics stay relevant to your community. So please make sure that you have told your implementation coordinator, maybe you've got a communications person or a newsletter coordinator, maybe it's a parent, someone else that can be skimming those emails also, because I know how busy your inboxes get. And I know that that was something that was hard for me to really take that content and put it in our newsletter. So please just let us know who you want us to include on those weekly emails, and we're happy to add them to your school team. And a couple more things about the parent events that you're going to have on your campus. We know that last minute conflicts happen, playoffs, tournaments, shifts in the calendar. Please just loop in your implementation coordinator early so that we can make a decision together and set your event up for success, even if that means rescheduling. And then lastly, for that spring family dinner, just we want to some feedback that we've received. We want to think carefully about the location that you all choose to have that dinner in, and how children, the students at your school, normally behave in that space. A space that kids are used to coming and running around in, like the gym, isn't always the best fit when they're expected to behave differently on that night, especially when their own parents are going to be in charge of them. So location can be a huge variable in setting everyone up for a successful event. So just be thinking about where that location may be, especially as you're choosing a date, to make sure that the right space is available on that right day. A couple of things we've talked about, we're constantly adding new programming and new content, but we've also rolled out teacher ed tech trainings this year to help the school staff consider the impact of technology use that's happening in their own classrooms. This started last year with the principals. And I know that I believe that presentation is on our website. So you can go and listen to that right now. It is a new topic that is out in our world right now, and in our state, in our communities. And we want to make sure that both these talks are really for me, as a former principal, I wanted to make sure that we're presenting the information not in a shaming or blaming way, just like with our parents, but they're rooted in the education and reflection. Remember, we're here to partner with your school community. So we're just, the teacher PD is really talking about asking teachers to reflect on how they're using technology and maybe look at ways that they can kind of make a shift. Additionally, smart families, those presentations are next week, and they're also on our website virtually. Additionally, Smart Families has acquired the nonprofit Humanality, and we're working to incorporate their 12 simple B statements that you see there on the right into different areas of our programming. And the first way we've done that is through the development of parent circles. And parent circles are a simple way to keep the conversation going after a Smart Families parent presentation. And we can do this through either monthly or quarterly gatherings that provide brief teaching and practical ideas and honest conversation. Parents can build community, share wins and challenges, and encourage one another as they are raising children in today's digital world. And so these parent circles turn a one-night presentation into an ongoing community of encouragement, accountability, and hope for parents. So if either one of these, either the EdTech conversations or these parent circles are something that you're interested in, either in adding to your campus program this year, or if maybe you want to keep them in mind for next year, just talk with your implementation coordinator about adding those into your schedule of events. So last slide before we conclude, we're just a couple minutes over, but the last things for you to do is, again, make sure that you've got that teacher PD scheduled. We have some online virtual ones next week that are on our website. If you wanted an in-person one, hopefully you've already scheduled those with your implementation coordinator or are about to do that. I know I have a planning meeting today. So just make sure that you've got those online PDs. That teacher PD is really important to get that scheduled in for your teachers. And then start building that army in your foundation. So enlist that family lead, find staff, teachers who are passionate about it. I personally, was really going to be leaning heavily on my counselor. A lot of the technology impacts that we see have direct, obviously, counseling components, right? Anxiety, depression, bullying. And so really that partnership with the counselor on your staff would be a great person to bring into your army and your foundation. And then just any other volunteers that you need to carry this mission. Again, we know that for principals, it's just one more thing for y'all, and we want to make sure that we help y'all build people underneath you to help, but also take off a lot of the responsibility through our newsletters, through our content, our social media, just copy and pasting it. So we hope that we have done that. And if anything needs to be adjusted, just reach out to your implementation coordinator to ask for help. But yeah, we hope that we make this first year a huge success for your families and just keep that mission going. Does anyone have any questions or any comments or anything?
Thank you, Tara. I think it's important to highlight the EdTech and the Humanality piece would not have been scheduled at your school or incorporated into that planning meeting, just to be clear. So if you were wondering, I don't remember seeing that, you haven't forgotten and you're not confused. It's not part of that Key 5 event program offering that we sit down and confirm at your planning meeting. And then I think I'm not confident in some of the school names, but here in Houston, we have some new implementation coordinators, one of which will be starting in August around the 17th, I believe. So if you have, an interim person emailing you or you haven't had that official handover, it is just we have the team in place, just the start date hasn't really aligned with when back to school is. So bear with us if you're one of those schools. Kristen.
Just one question. Is it okay to have 2 lead families, or is it really preferred to just have 1?
No, that's great.
The more the better.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
And we encourage them to do these community building events, which we'll spend more time talking about in the family lead online talk. But you're welcome to drive them and definitely encourage your family leads to go ahead and book something We see very simple stuff such as game night hosted at the school with board games, bringing things back to that traditional family, gathering type stuff. Your coordinator can help ensure that maybe we supply pizza, something so that there's that exciting incentive that Tara kind of mentioned in getting people in the door. We know it's hard. We've seen pickleball events, we've seen family bowling night. Those are often best also executed after that parent presentation, because you'll find people sort of clamor around after and they start talking. And it's wonderful to have that family lead, if possible, in place prior to that parent presentation. We know that might not be perfect and happen in all schools, but then the family lead can say, great, here I see this development of this community starting to happen here within your community. And those are the people that they would invite to that community building event. And that's again after that first parent presentation. Trying to think what other stuff. We've done just coffee talks as well, where a parent lead asks, can I host a coffee talk at the school? Could you please attend and just be there, be present? Where we've had a principal just share literally 5 words again about why this is so important to them, and allow the like-minded people to show up, have coffee, share whether or not they've taken the pledge, ask questions about it. Those work really well and are very simple. We want to keep it not complicated.
And Jen,
yes.
to answer your question, we will send the slides and a recording of this presentation out here shortly. Well,
Great.
Thank you all for your time. Again, reach out to your implementation coordinator, or if you're in Central Texas area or Dallas-Fort Worth, or your regional director, Patrice, or myself, and Hillary is always happy to help as well. So we're all here to support you all, and we're looking forward to a wonderful year.
Yes, best wishes with back to school. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, everybody.